Hello everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Last time we did some rendezvous in orbit. We rescued a couple of Kerbins, earned us a nice little chunk of money, and got us a little bit more tech. Today I think we're going for planting a flag on the moon. So we already have that mission by the Fluid development, and we also have the next Kerbal Record Society mission, this one to land on the moon, so we can get both those at the same time. Filling in some more missions to grab us some more cash. We can bring a moonstone back with us, ideally find one in the polar crater, polar lowlands or poles biome, so we'll aim to land on the poles then. Another one to recover science data from the surface of the moon. Let's go over to R&D and spend some of the science that we got. Okay, we're going to pick up propulsion systems, gives us some new options here. I'm going to pick up storage technology as well, so we can store some bits. Just to make this a tiny bit different from my normal moon landings, I'm also going to pick this one up. Build a new orbital station around the moon. So it needs an antenna, a docking port, can generate power. That's all fairly straightforward. We need to have the facility supporting at least 5 Kerbals. That's a bit more of a challenge, but certainly something we can aim for. And 2,000 units of liquid fuel. That should be fine. I'll just make sure we build the return stage with that in mind. Because this can be the lander, we don't have to keep this in orbit, we just need to get this into moon orbit. And that will give us an extra nice big chunk of cash there, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so because we're going for the larger section, I'm going to design a brand new ship. Probably going to base it on this Salamander command pod. I don't think I've actually used this before. But I will put the design into a time-lapse and catch you at the end. Okay, after playing around with a little bit, looking at various things, I don't think I'm going to try and do that mission in the same time as the landing. Okay, so here we have our probably rather over-engineered lander. This is the Moose, the Moon Orbit or Surface Explorer. So we've got the actual moon landing stage up here. This bit is probably a bit overkill, but that's fine. It gets it there, gets it landed. This part is going to be our little space station stage. This is really there for the mission more than anything else, but we can still use this to complete that, and I'll also leave it out there so that we can dock to it later, because eventually it's going to ask us to do docking missions. And this is the rest of it. My main worry is that this engine isn't really all that strong compared to the weight of this. We'll just have to see how it goes. I did buy the upgraded pad because this thing was a little bit over mass, but still, that's all looking good. I'll take our new pilot Joan here, and since I've got a 2-man lander, I'm going to be landing Bob with them. So we've got an extra scientist on board. Scientists can do the sciencey stuff, reset some experiments that we've got on the way. Otherwise, I think we're all good to go. Oop, forgot about cargo. Is put in a EVA kit that the 2 crewmen can use. Okay, thrusters full, SAS on, and let's see how we do. Okay, good liftoff. Oh, this thing doesn't have the control. Right, let's revert that. Okay, little adjustment. I've added another SAS control on the lower stage. Otherwise everything's good. Okay, SAS on. Let's try this again. Oh, it's already losing it. Okay, I'm going to need to put control fins or something on, because that is not happy. Okay, a few more control fins on. See how we do there. Third time's a charm. Right, decouple those. Most of them collided, never mind. This engine really is struggling though. This is the strongest one we've got. I might need to put multiple engines on instead, because we're losing speed now quite significantly. Okay, we're now building speed again. Alright, so that stage is about to burn out. This is an awful orbital injection. I don't think we're going to make it. Nah, and this one just doesn't have the thrust. This is an orbital. This was supposed to be pretty much in orbit by the time I lit this stage. Nah, reverting. Okay, so the big problem is this stage just doesn't have the thrust. I'm going to put an engine plate on it instead. If I have one, may not have unlocked the engine plate for that stage. Okay, but I do have an external fuel duct, so I know what I'm going to do. Okay, it's a much more expensive design, but it should get us there. Just put liquid fuels. I've got kind of a reverse asparagus staging here, so the outer tanks continue to burn throughout the flight. Hopefully this will do. Okay, let's see how this goes. A lot more thrust. I think I just messed up there more than anything. I think I just pitched over too fast. Okay, take 5, I think. Okay, rather vertical launch, but let's see if we can start getting some horizontal velocity. Okay, there is flame out, so detach. Space stage can ignite. I can get rid of the fairing. Extend our antenna. And do the material study, because I should be able to restore this. Okay, that was rather awkward, but we managed to get there. Kind of. This mission's really not going to plan. Okay, I've got a maneuver that should get us there. We're definitely not going to have the amount of fuel we need, but we can bring that on another mission, that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to send Bob out just to test the ladder, which I should have done, and the ladder seems to be working good. They can restore the Science Junior Bay and jump back in. Okay, and go for orbital burn now. Or orbital transfer burn, I should say. Okay, we're going to be flying by the moon now. Okay, need a little more delta V to be able to stop this stage. Fortunately, I don't think I've got the tech to do fuel transfer, so I'm not going to be able to get my space orbital stage quite into moon orbit. That's okay, we can deal with that on the rescue mission. The rescue mission can bring fuel. Once it's got fuel, this can then adjust its orbit. Performing the EVA science experiment. Keep that. Restore that pod. And restore the goo container. Here we go. I do realise I'm coming in on an equatorial orbit, and I said I was going to try for a polar one, but no, we'll just deal with what we can do here. I'm more worried about just trying to get into orbit as best we can rather than anything else. It's just not too bad an orbit that the space stage is going to end up in. Decouple that stage. Ignite the engine and just bring us to a nice gentle orbit here. Okay, and I think I'm going to try and land over here. Yep, the other stage is flinging off into space. It should be fine. Okay, let's bleed off our velocity. Okay, well now just time to slowly descend towards the surface. I'm very worried about fuel. This may well be one that needs a complete rescue mission, but we'll do our best. Okay, getting close to suicide burn timer, just watching the counter go down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, script. Right. Didn't quite do a suicide burn, but near enough. Well, there seems to be plenty of rocks around. Don't know if they're just random stuff, but we'll see. And boop. Oh shit. SAS turned off for some reason. That wasn't good. Oh shit. On the bright side, most of these are just decoration rocks. On the downside, we're not supposed to be here. I'll roll us over. There we go. Stop rolling. And getting the various science reports. There's a load of it that we can get. Bob here can do his science. Alright, managed to wiggle him enough to get him onto the ladder. Alright, then Joan can do something similar, but Joan is getting to plant a flag. Alright, well we did that much. Okay, so I have actually managed to find a bit of moonstone, which is quite a lot harder with all of the scattering mods. There we go, got a chunk of moonstone. Okay, managed to wedge the Kerbal back in. Alright, now this is when I'm going to attempt something stupid to end the episode. I don't actually know if we've got enough Delta V to make it into orbit. Probably not, and most assuredly we shouldn't really be trying from this position, but I'm going to drop a quick save and give it a go anyway. Well, that went horribly. Oh, aha. Oh, I managed to get out. Okay. Well, that was insane. Oh, we might just have enough to circularize. Oh, perfect. Just managed to wibble it about on the surface for a bit until it bounced off just enough from rolling to clear the ground when I ignited the engine. It actually sodding worked. Oh dear, right, okay. Okay, doing the circularization burn of sorts. We are in orbit, a very low orbit, but an orbit. Okay, there's our last of our fuel, but we've put it into an orbit. Alright, we're going to need to run a rescue mission to bring this home, but that's easier to do from orbit than it is to do from the ground, so hopefully that'll go okay. In terms of our missions, though, we did manage to recover that really expensive stage, which is really nice. That kind of main stage that put us up there cost 99,000. We recovered 87,000 of that. So that is actually really damn good. That stage is actually a lot more sustainable than it seemed as long as we remember to recover it. We did manage to land on the surface, walk on the surface, and plant a flag on the surface of the moon, so that's a whole bunch of things that we did manage to achieve that run. Still need to bring the moonstone back and bring the science data back. We can do both of those with the rescue mission, and we're also going to have to launch probably a secondary rescue mission to rescue the station that we've left in orbit. But still, that gives us plenty to be working with. And semi-successful mission there. So hopefully you'll join me next time where we go to rescue Bob and Joan and bring them back safely home. Until then, hope you remember to be kind to yourself and everyone else. Cheers!